Welcome back to the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast. Today's guest is the definition of modern success in this industry. Angie Martinez went from zero production her first year to building a multi-six-figure agency powered almost entirely by social media. Modern Insurance. Welcome to the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast.
We're your hosts, David and Al Denning.
What happens when a millennial couple dives headfirst into the insurance world, scales $1 million remote business, and decides to share the journey with the world?
You get the Modern Insurance Agent.
Here, we reveal the messy, magical, and sometimes hilarious realities of building a business and a life you love.
From traveling the globe to building remote teams. Yes, even working remotely on top of a mountain in the Philippines. We're sharing insights, strategies, and plenty of laughs to help agents and entrepreneurs succeed.
Because, let's face it, success isn't just about hitting numbers.
It's about designing a life that works for you.
So let's dive in and build something extraordinary together. She's now a leader with Our Infinite Company, helping other agents automate and scale, building brands, systems, and passive lead flow. If you think being introverted or not having a sales background disqualifies you, this episode will prove otherwise. But first, agents, you can get all the resources, show notes, all the goodies that we've got put together for you, as well as how to connect with our guest. If you go to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast, got everything for you there. Go hop in and grab it. But we're going to go ahead and dive in with Angie Martinez. Welcome. I'd love if you tell us a little bit about yourself, Angie.
Thank you so much, David, for having me here today. A little bit about myself. Yes, my name is Angie Martinez. And yes, I also was a huge introvert when I first started in insurance. I still remember when I was getting into insurance. It took me about an hour and 2 hours to make the decision of, yes, I'm going to do this. I was literally sitting in front of my husband, just sitting and contemplating whether I should do this or not, because the first thing that would pop to my head is I cannot talk to people. I'm a stay-at-home mom now. I was pregnant and I had a toddler and I wouldn't socialize with anyone. So I said, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pull this off. Selling and going out there. I don't go out. I don't talk to people. I don't have many friends. I'm an introvert. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, but 6 years, January was my 6th year. 6 years in, being an introvert has become my strength in the industry, believe it or not. So a little bit about me.
I love it, Angie. I'm excited to dive in, especially on the journey a little bit, and then talk about what stuff looked like right now, right? We're talking about the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast. So it's all about things that we're putting in place differently to, do even better, help our agents even more, which we were just talking about before we hopped on to start recording here. And, going back to the beginning though, you said your first year in the business, you did no production, like you said, introvert, now who am I going to talk to? And then hit 100,000 the next. What changed? What was that change?
COVID. COVID happened because before COVID, there was no Zoom. Nobody utilized Zoom. Nobody utilized any online trainings. It was mainly, we have to go to an office. We have to go get training, go get mentored physically at a place. We have to physically reach out to people. The only technology we would use when reaching out to people was to make phone calls or to send out messages. But again, I didn't have a circle. I didn't have a lot of phone numbers. Who can I talk to? Who can I connect with? And going out was difficult because I had a child. And then I was 8 months pregnant. So that made it difficult. But also it was a very difficult internal fight with myself being an introvert. COVID happened. People turned to social media. People turned to technology. And I said, this is my chance to shine because I don't have to get out of my home. I can be here, not talk to anyone, and just massively, post, reach out, and be able to explode my business. So COVID was a turning point for me.
Yeah, it's a big, a big opportunity. I think people realizing, oh, I can do this virtually, digitally, connect with people all over the place. And so even as someone who's around the house, around my kids, around my family, able to still connect, have that impact, and help others that you really wanted to do. So, and you talked about, kind of being the introvert with not necessarily having the sales background. How did two questions? How did social media help you find your voice? And did you find that you connected really well with other parents and moms, for example?
Yeah. Social media, I was just posting and I didn't understand. I would see everybody post, I would post, but even prior to being in the business, I was always careful and as to not posting any vulgar stuff or getting into politics because again, I'm an introvert. I don't like the attention. I don't like especially people coming at me. I'd rather not get into that. So I was always very careful in terms of like not getting involved into anything. So when I started sharing of what I would do, it was not difficult because people could sense that I was a straightforward person, a serious person. I was not going to be messing around. So it was a journey. It's a process. It's not like we post and you're immediately going to get something from it. It's a process you have to nurture, or the audience has to get used to seeing you in the industry. And two, I did connect with moms because I would talk about my struggles, one as an introvert, two as a mom, and three, the fact that insurance, many people might see it as sales, but the way I would see it, I learned it as a solution. So I would talk about what it would do for you, not as a product. And I could connect with moms because of that, with especially working moms, moms that wanted to contribute. Just talking about my experience and what I was doing, it was easier to connect with them.
Yeah, you got to be yourself and
Yeah.
connect with an audience you had solutions for that you also personally connected with, that you understood their pain points, what they went through, why it
Yeah.
was important, right? And social
Yeah.
allowed you to do that, even, being a bit introverted. So, for those that are listening that are maybe scared, maybe like, well, I'm kind of introverted, I don't maybe like the attention as much as well. Because I'll tell you that like one of the top things we hear when people come talk to us about the closers click and things like that, or like, I'm not a social media person. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Neither is almost everybody else who comes and work with us, right?
Right.
So, and so that's possible to use social and grow a business, even, hey, I don't like the attention, but realizing, hey, I'm helping people and this helps make an
Mhm.
impact, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was that, I mean, I wasn't really a big poster. I was the spectator
Mhm.
prior to like
The
even,
lurker.
yeah, I was just the spectator. I was there watching, laughing. I was actually using it to escape. Because
Mhm.
you're a mom, you don't work. I had stopped working because I was already on maternity leave. You're a mom, you don't work, you don't socialize. You need an escape to maintain your sanity. So I would use social media as that escape. So I wouldn't post. I wasn't really a big poster, and it's that like I can't say I was an expert in social media. It's just that you have to give people the time to get used, one, to your posts, and two, to start visualizing you and coming a full circle, like, okay, you are actually serious about what you're doing, especially if you're not from the industry, because you have a background. People are used to seeing you as you, the former person, so you have to give it some time to cook there.
Love it. And at what point did it kind of click, or did you kind of realize that social would be a game changer for you as far as like, oh, there are people I'm connecting with or reaching out? Like, was there any moments in time or certain kind of first results that you're like, oh, this is an opportunity here?
So since I started, again, it was prior to COVID. Everybody, there's older, I worked with older people in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
When I started, they were used to the old ways. And I would say, look, I know that there has to be a way to promote, to get this information out there and use social media, especially because after 2020, if pretty much you're not on social media, they were non-existent businesses, right? So people, before we would go to Google for reviews, and now we go to social media to check their pages, to check the reviews on their pages, to check their content, to see if they look welcoming. And that's how we choose who we want to do business with. So when COVID happened, that everybody started doing the TikTok dances and everything, I said, look, we're leaving a lot of money. Yeah, we're leaving a lot of money over the table if we're not going to leverage social media, because people are using it as an escape from the situation, from reality. Now, social media doesn't mean I'm sitting here talking about products, trying to sell them. It could be fun. You could be creative. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where, if you have that opportunity, you can, the question is not what can you do with social media, it's what can you not do based on the creativity and all the platforms and everything that we have. So that kind of was my click of, I am missing out. I'm leaving a lot of money over the table if I don't hop on social media now. So
I love it. So yeah, let's talk about a little bit around that content, right? Like, that's not just come buy insurance for me, right? Like, obviously we know that's not salesy stuff, doesn't really work on Facebook because it's not a billboard, it's meant to connect. And so you've produced hundreds of thousands of revenue using just social media. Like, what kind of content works best for you? Or have you found really effective?
Of course, when I talk about the human side, the human side always works best, because again, people, and I have 6 years of doing this, I've heard people say it and I can prove it. People would not do business with you because you have the best products, because you have the best quotes, the best companies. People work with you because of who you are. So when I would post who I was, my family time, my hobbies, when I spoke from the heart, when I showed my human side, I didn't have to ask people for sales or for appointments. They wanted to work with me because I was showing that human side. So that will always top any business flyer, any like suit and tie type of video, because people want to see the real you. Yeah.
That's kind of freeing, right? Like, I get to be me and people want to actually talk to me, work with me, send people to me, versus I have to put on this fake persona of what I think most people envision when they think insurance is some old guy in a suit and tie knocking on doors, right? It's like, no, that's not it. People want to work with people that understand them, that they trust, that, that are going to be agents they enjoy working with too. And you got to be you and got to have those people come right to you, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the things, when I first started, I loved the information that I was hearing, and I loved how I was able to have the flexibility and be able to generate an income from home, my own schedule, what it is to be, everything that entails to be in the industry. But when I said, okay, what license do I have to have? What exactly, like, tell me everything that I'm going to sell. And they said, it's mainly life insurance. That was like a bummer for me because I was 25 years old. And I said, you know what? Insurance is not sexy. It doesn't sound like fun. If you would have told me, Kinder, Angie, you're going to be in the insurance industry, she would have cried in Kinder, because that sounds so boring. Why? Because I had this idea of insurance is an old man with a suit and a tie. But yet again, the audience is younger people, because isn't it cheaper for younger people? It can't, at least my audience. So I said, I have to change that. That's what I think people have in their mind. And that's why we have to change it. But if there's nobody to show what insurance can do, and the change is not going to happen. So that's kind of how I see it when I market out there.
And yeah, that leads great into, what would you say to agents who think social doesn't work for their market or their people?
So I would just say be yourself, because your best market is you before insurance. I mean, there's a reason why we came into the insurance world. Maybe you like the commission and the ability to generate as much income as you want. Maybe you have a testimony, something happened, and that's why now you want to offer insurance to people. And the people that you're going to connect with best is the people that are in the situation that you were before you started in insurance. So me, I don't try to talk to any other person other than the Angie from before. So that's who I connect better with.
You previously were your own prospect or the person to help, and the things you didn't know or the things your prospects don't know, so you get to educate yourself, which is educating your prospects too. I love that. It takes some pressure off of I'm just talking to myself, right? My past self. So I love it. That's fantastic. And like we're talking about, like whether you work with a senior audience, younger audience, business owners, individuals, people, bilingual or not, like they're all on social media. The average person uses it 2.5 hours a day, and you got to go right to them versus like, well, hopefully they come find me. Right. And so that leads now into some of your agents, right? Like, so how do you help new agents, build a brand and start generating inbound opportunities without burning out?
It's the very first thing, of course, is that finding out who you want to talk to. But again, we do have agents who say, well, I want to focus, and they're very young, and they say, I want to focus in the older audience. I want to focus in, or maybe moms or single people. And, they come with an idea. But then I said, okay, well, what's something that you can talk about all day long? Who do you love having conversations where you could have a conversation and you have no idea that it's been 4 hours? And then when we start kind of breaking it down, that's when we find out, okay, I know you wanted to talk to moms, but see how you connect better with this audience. And 90% of the time, the audience that they connect is that audience who has some similarities to who they were before. So it's finding that, because the one thing on social media is you want to be yourself, you want to be authentic. So if we're going to create a posting plan, you have to, if you want to build a brand, you have to be able to maintain it. But if you are not authentic, if it's not your real voice, it's going to be very difficult to continue to post, and you're going to burn out, because that's not who you are. It's going to become a workload instead of just naturally posting. So that's the very first thing that we do, is let's find your voice. Let's find who you're going to talk to. And 100% of the times it's talking, that authentic voice is because you actually have something to connect about with the audience.
Yeah, it's hard to speak effectively to someone if you don't know who you're talking to, right? Or how to help someone if you don't know what help they need, because you don't know your audience, right? So I love that. That's the very first thing you focus on, is helping them find that, what they're going to be most effective with, and then really how to, communicate with that audience, right? For the solutions that you're able to bring. So I love that. And we talked about this a little bit earlier on some things that you're putting in place that are pretty unique. And also, as the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast, are things moving into these areas that love to see a lot of this industry adopt and put in place. And, a brand building system powered by virtual assistants, backend tools, now AI. Can you walk us a little bit through what that looks like and kind of what are some of the cool things that you guys are doing?
Yeah, for sure. So when they come on board, what we do is, it's always me and the virtual assistant who does that first appointment with the people. And of course, myself is all the business conversations like, what are you planning on doing full time? What's your commitment? What are you looking for, right? I'm on the business side, but also we also discuss this. Okay, we focus on social media. We discuss how we are doing the lead generation through social media, and our VA is she's the one sending the links, because of course, like when we try to find their target audience, their voice, she's the one that sends the form, I guess you could say, the form. Fill this out. The more we know about the person, the better it is to help them create a posting plan. And I've trained the VA to create the posting plan. So she creates the posting plan. Then I meet with the person. We review the posting plan and I help them create their introductory post or their reintroduction post. And that's the very first step here, because we are rebranding. Like myself, I was a teacher. So I can't be complaining about working Saturdays, complaining about being overworked and not having enough, and then the next day talk about how, hey, we can help you set up a strong financial foundation, because it's going to take people, it's going to take them by surprise. Like, weren't you complaining that you didn't have money or that you were overworked? So we have to create that reintroduction post. And this reintroduction post, the most vulnerable that it is, the best it's going to work. Because if you let people know, hey, I'm doing this because I was struggling. I found a way. I found this insurance that helped me, or I found this project that I'm launching that's going to help me generate more income. People now have your attention. They now have your attention. So we have a centralized space, which is Notion, what we're using. We put everything, everything, my experience, what I learned, the tools that the company offers, my experience from what I know, everything was dumped into Notion and created a centralized space for everything, for the business, for products, for everything. So anytime people come in, of course, we do that initial meeting. The VA takes care of the posting plan, but now they can go into the centralized space to learn the process step by step, how to do the business, how we generate leads. And now we automated that where it's working on its own. I can focus on doing what I love, which is meeting with clients. We show them how to generate the leads with social media. If you build a strong brand, you'll start generating passive leads. It's what I call it. So of course, with that and the centralized space, it takes a lot so that we as the agents are not spending so much time in the trainings or the onboarding. We're just focused on working. Yeah.
Love that. Very systematized, help them get all set up and learn everything. Are there any specific like kind of tech or tools that you're really excited about or like excited to implement or learn more about that you're seeing right now?
So yes, ChatGPT is one of them, because it made everything so much easier into creating posting plans. And one thing about ChatGPT that I realized is that not many people understand how to use it. We're just like plugging things and it's giving us, but if we can feed it and we can ask exactly what we want, it will design everything, pretty much do it for you. All you do is apply. Prior to ChatGPT, my husband Joe was my ChatGPT, because I had him create captions. I had him like, okay, I have to have a balance of posts. So he was the one that was manually breaking his head trying to put it together. And now with ChatGPT, it's just made it so much smoother and faster, easier to create a posting plan for like 10 people at a time. So that's one that I'm still super excited to learn more about. And really learning on how I can automate everything in the business. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can have more time for your agents and for your family and
Right.
everything right there. Like efficiency is big. I think a lot of agents like almost take pride in like, I do everything myself, but it's like, well, I'm actually limiting how many people I can help and how much time to help them, or even time with
Right.
my family that I'm robbing myself of. So
Right.
it makes sense, especially as a leader, to be efficient and be able to free up that time. Like we use
Yeah.
ChatGPT for a lot of things, have trained it and very specifically, have it feed us or have it deliver on the things that we want it to. And
Yeah.
you're right, that's something to learn, something to put in place, and something that will continue to develop as it's moving faster every single day. But the ones who aren't taking advantage of it are the ones who get left behind. So I love that you're already
Yeah.
putting that in place, already building some really cool things for your agents that we're super excited about. And then tell me, what are on the flip side, I think like agents do overthink a lot of things. Then
Yeah.
that they analysis paralysis, they don't take action. What's something that you see that agents are overcomplicating that could be handled with either automation or that they're just overthinking and not taking action on?
Um, the business is very simple. It's just if you're able to get an appointment and if you're able to close the appointment, you can make money. You can do this business. I think that people, because it's so simple, the human brain is complex and we want to complicate everything. And it's as simple as do your reach outs, do your phone calls, post your stuff, engage with people. If you automated the posting, go engage, go help the process. But because it's simple, we naturally want to make it complicated. No, it doesn't work. It's because I feel I need to do more. I'm missing something. I gotta go create a different post. And we don't give it time to cook. We don't give it time to cook. One of the things is the way I see it, the industry is like a puzzle. And you're building your trajectory, you're building your experience piece by piece. And every reach out, every call, every training is a piece into that puzzle. And people do one post, one call, and they get one no, and automatically they want to change everything. But it's simple. We just make it complicated. So I think that's one of the biggest issues I see.
I love that focus on the constant improvement and building and adding. We always talk about like the 1% better every day, and that consistency and continued growth stacks and stacks and stacks, right? It's not a overnight, give one phone call, make millions of dollars in insurance, right? If
Right.
only, right? If you find that out, let me know.
I know.
Keep eyes open, but that's not really how it works. That's not how relationships work. And this is a relationship industry, right? So, and talking about that focus and continued growth, I think that leads into stuff that's really important about the mindset and the ways in which we approach things. And you talked about it about this business and social as a cumulative effort, like you said, that we're
Right.
bringing together, we're building, like you just mentioned. Can you explain that mindset a little bit and some of the mindsets you bring to your business?
Right. Yeah. So just like you just mentioned, in this business is not for right now. It's yes, you can hit the jackpot or be that lucky one who first phone call and you're actually able to get something. First appointment and you're able to close. Maybe it's your first ever policy and it's a huge policy. And you get your first recruit and it's they're a star. So yes, it can happen that way, but it's not always that way, and it's okay. It because it's cumulative effort. Like I said, it's like a puzzle. You might have a vision of I want to do something, but as you go, that vision becomes more clear. As you as you do your next phone call, you get your next no, you get your next policy, the next training, you are moving forward in the industry, and it's your vision is getting just a lot more clear. With social media, it's the same thing. The social media is no different than the business. because you're going to create that one post, but you might not get something from that one post. But then you send another message, you engage in a comment, you add another person, you create another post. Your brand is becoming more clear. Because if it's not clear to you, it's not going to be clear to people outside of you. On average, people need to see something 7 to 8 times before they make a decision. So if you're talking, let's say if your audience is moms and you've only talked to moms one time, you're not going to get anything. You have to talk to moms at least 7 or 8 times. If your focus is an IUL and you only talk about an IUL once, you're not going to get something because they have to hear it 7 to 8 times. So everything that you do is adding into what you're actually trying to achieve, into the business that you're trying to build, into the brand that you're trying to build. So that's how I explain it to people, because there's people that come in and say, well, I haven't gotten anything. Well, hold on. What have you done to contribute into that puzzle piece? What are you doing to help it? So that's my take on social media and the business.
Love that consistency, and that, yes, you got to take action to get results, right? But I love how you talked about people need to hear and see things multiple times. So, agents, it's good to repeat your message and how you're helping people and what you're doing and educating them, and doing that multiple times on educating on something, on, here's the problem that people have and that they need a solution for, because they need to hear that multiple times. And also different people on social will see it each time, even on who you are and what you stand for and who you are personally and why you got in this business, repeating that multiple times, right? Because once again, people need to hear things stick. The most successful agents and entrepreneurs I know, they have their core things that they talk about regularly and repeat. And that's what I know they're all about. And that's building your brand, right? You've built your brand, you and Joe, of what you guys focus on, how you help people, how you help agents, and you repeat and share that with more people and agents. That's exactly what you need to do, is share that as well. And and balancing that's key too. You've built this whole thing while being working mom, helping others do the same. How do you balance all
that? First of all, having a schedule and an opening and closing schedule. Of course, the business mindset is on 24/7. But this is what I say, like a doctor, if you're on a trip and if somebody all of a sudden needs CPR, the doctor's not going to say, well, I'm off the clock, I don't have my white coat. You're still going to take the opportunity. So the business mindset is on 24/7, but I have to have an opening and closing time where I'm fully there. But another thing is, when you transition, when you are used to working a 9 to 5 and you transition to entrepreneurship, you can waste a lot of time. And it happened to me at first because you're there and I don't know what to do. But it comes down to that, having a standard operating procedure. What are the things that are actually going to move you forward every day? Contacting, prospecting, appointments, and follow-ups. So what I do is I block out. What is my time for? My first time is the contacting with my agents, getting in touch with them. What do we need? Follow up. What do you need? Do we need to set some time? It's always my agents. Then it's my follow-ups. I follow up on the people that didn't show up. I follow up on the people that didn't answer. Then comes my appointment time. And there's a block for appointments per day, and then there's a block for training, because I still get training on a daily basis. And that's the routine that I've established. Every day it's the same, because that's what puts money in my pocket, what moves me forward. That's what I'm going to stick to. Everything else is extra, but that's my standard operating procedure.
Love that. Having Like, I'm a big believer in living and dying by the calendar and taking control of it, or it will take control of you. So I love
Yeah.
that you have all these separations and blocked off, and time for the, when I'm stopping being fully there. So yes, now it's family time. Now it's, I'm on a trip time, versus just 24/7. Although our brains never turn, there's no off switch for entrepreneurship. It's
No.
just there, right? So but we can, try to fit stuff within a schedule.
Yeah.
So obviously we can be fully present with our families
Mhm.
and stuff there too. And so, what do you think overall is the biggest difference between agents who like dabble or struggle and agents who scale and succeed? And do you think, coaching, mentorship, and stuff plays a big part in that?
Um, well, for one, the consistency, because it's the same thing that's going to put money in your pocket. It's the contacting. Whether you're doing it through social media or whether you're doing it through phone calls, whatever it is that you're doing, are you putting yourself in front of a person? Are you getting the opportunity? Are you giving yourself the opportunity to get into a conversation? So if nobody opens a conversation with you, you have to get out there and open those conversations. And that is the number one thing. If that's what's going to get us appointments, that has to be done on a daily basis. I think a lot of times is people don't want to do it. Maybe the schedule, they don't get time to do it, or maybe they have a full pipeline and it's like, well, I haven't had time to do my phone calls. But if you don't squeeze in the time to contact, eventually what you got in the pipeline is going to die off and you're going to have to start from scratch. So that's the first thing. The second thing is what I've seen, and it happened to me too, and rookie mistake. But once you grow, once you scale, we try to get creative. What do I have to do different? Now I have to create a training. Now I have to do this. And all of a sudden, we're caught in everything extra. When we could have just kept it simple, do the same thing, plug in the person to the same thing, and we could just roll and grow together. So I think those are the two biggest things that people get stuck on, and that is where they fall off the hook or fall through the cracks.
I love that. Simple scales, right? And I can follow and be consistent with simple. The more complex, the harder it is to consistently put in place. The same reason that when we talk to people on social, or as far as social is focusing on a single platform, using that really effectively and growing versus let me do every platform under the sun, right?
Right.
So I love that. I love keeping it focused for the agents so they can put it in place, be consistent and scale before, trying to add something new in there. Because we see that a lot with agents come in and like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do PNC, life, investments, health, Medicare, I'm going to do all these things at one time. It's like, it's a lot. And then it becomes stressful and then they're not consistent. So
Yeah.
I love that guidance and that help support from you on that, which I think is so important because at the end of the day, agents don't know what they don't know, right? Especially when they first come in. So being able to have someone show them, put it in place and follow this, it's like, okay, that's really helpful. So otherwise I just kind of flounder and can't figure it out myself, right? So with that, what's the one piece of advice you wish someone had told you when you first started in this industry? Like if you go back, like you said, you talked to yourself from the past. If you could go back and like, hey, here's one piece of advice as you're getting started that, that you would follow, what would that be?
I think it would be that it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle. Uh, because I wanted to get a result from, or I would get frustrated, especially again, being an introvert. If your first year you don't produce, you start getting in your mind, I'm not cut for this. This wasn't for me. It's not working. I can't do this. But if they would have told me it's a puzzle and everything you're doing is adding into what you're trying to do, I would have seen things differently and taken the time to learn from every experience, whether it was appointment setting, closing, a training. I would have taken and fully absorbed the learning opportunity versus having to worry of, I'm not good, I'm not cut for this, it's not for me. So that is the one piece of advice I would give everyone. It's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle. And like when you start figuring those pieces out makes such a big difference. Because I remember when we connected, I think Joe connected, and then
Yeah.
eventually convinced you to connect. And
Yeah.
and you guys grew very quickly after. Hey, here's these puzzle pieces. Let's put them together. And I remember how fast you guys took off on that side. And which is really exciting to see where it's grown to, what you guys are doing now. And once again, the continued advancements you're making for your agents too. So really proud of you guys, really excited to see what the future holds. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come hop on the podcast and share a little bit about that journey. I look forward to having you guys back on it and reconnecting some more as well. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us, Angie. I really, really appreciate it. And for those that are wanting to connect with you and follow the journey, what you're doing, and connect, where's the best way for them to do that?
They can find me on Facebook. Facebook is the primary tool that I use. It's probably the only tool that I use for business. So my Facebook is under Angie Martinez.
Perfect. And we'll make sure to get that included in the show notes. So by the way, guys, if you guys go to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast, it'll have the show notes. It'll have all the goodies and how to connect with Angie as well and follow that journey on that side as well. So once again, Angie, I really, really appreciate you guys hopping on here and getting to share. I really appreciate having you back and sharing more in the future, like I said. And thank you everyone so much for tuning in and join us for this episode of the Modern Insurance Agents Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
I want to share one more thing.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. We got bonus clips. Stay around. Bonus clips.
One more thing before we close out is I want to thank you and Elle, David, because when we were in that pivotal moment where Joe took all of this time to convince me, if we would have not worked with the Closers Click, I don't think we would be here where I am today in business, because you guys helped us and coached us, but helped us understand fully social media and coached us and held our hand all the way. And that is the reason that our eyes were fully open into what social media can do for you. So my respect to everything that you've done, you and Elle, and I will forever be grateful for the Closers Click and both of you. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Angie. We really love you and Joe, and so excited for all that growth. I remember those original chats, and it's just so exciting to see all the skyrocketing, taking off you guys have done, and just know that it's still the beginning, and there's so much more that you guys are going to accomplish and put in place there too, and so many people that you're going to help. So thank you so much for taking the jump, putting the stuff in place, and then seeing that leap. So once again, thank you for joining us. Thanks everybody for joining us on this. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast.